Hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's the Queen. Today is marking 3 years on this network. I became monetized in the fall of 2020, and I didn't think to get monetized. Some of the fans kept saying, "You should be monetized. You should be monetized." I just didn't focus on it at that time when I was uploading content to the queue. But I put my bid in, got accepted, and here I am. Thank you all for the love, the support, the kind words, um, even a little bit of the conflict too. That's what's put me up here in this box. As most of you know, my claim to fame was Camille McKinney speaking about her disappearance and her death. And that's how people came to know my channel. And I want to thank you all for watching, supporting those who were here from day one. Um, when I started to grow and get a few subscribers, mainly my subscription list started basically just word of mouth with people in the community, my church, anybody I would see, I'd say, "Hey, you subscribe to my channel," and it went from there. And then, sadly, a child went missing in Alabama. I started to talk about it. I saw the post on Facebook of a missing 3-year-old, and the rest is history. And I want to thank those who shared my channel from their network to have people, mosey on over here to check out the content. There have been a lot of people who have, well, I won't say a lot because I'd be saying half of what I have. I'm at 11,000 plus. My subscription has gone down. I think a lot of people aren't used to a person who can just give it to you raw, uncut, and not sugarcoat information. I'm not one to sugarcoat things in my own life. I take every day in stride, and I don't sugarcoat things when I'm not in this box. And that's what may not be for some people. Some people want things to just be, fluffed, but that's not really life. It's fluffing things, scenarios. I bring you every angle of a situation, of a storyline, of content. I make you think. And a lot of people are used to, just fluff, just someone speaking, talking as if they're speaking to second graders. Well, we're not in the second grade. I'm assuming that most of the people that follow my content are over the age of 18. They have a free thinking mind, I would hope, and they're not easily intimidated. They're not easily manipulated. And that's why my channel isn't for many people, because I don't want people to listen to my content that can be easily manipulated into believing things, because I want you to think for yourself. And if you can't think for yourself, you're going to have a hard time in life. That's just anything you do, anything you venture into. If you can't think for yourself, you're going to have a hard time, because you can't listen to everything you hear. You can't believe everything you hear. And sometimes, hey, you can't believe what you see, because the eye can be tricky. Sometimes you think you're seeing something that's really not going on. Your eye is telling you something and you're saying, well, it looks like this, and perhaps it's not what you think it is. I want you to be a free thinker. So welcome to Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you all for following the content, the love. Hello, Olivia, Cherie, Tracy, Brittany. Hi. Thank you all so much. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Well, this is just an open chat. We'll just talk about anything and everything. I don't want to dwell too much on, the whole hum stories that I talk about a lot. I like to talk about some other things that I'm seeing in the news, life situation scenarios. One thing I saw in the queue that struck me today that was kind of funny was Boosie talking to Vlad TV about the McDonald's situation. Is a man expected to bring food to all the children in a house where his child lives? So let's say a woman has 4 kids. One child belongs to Joe Blow, and Joe Blow decides to take his child out to eat or bring food to that child. Should he be obligated to bring food to the other children? I don't think he should, because you have to use common sense. How is that going to work every time he decides to go get something for his child, be it food, clothes, gifts, whatever it is? Is he going to be expected to bring it to bring other children? I think you all know that wouldn't make any sense. That's not logical. If he lived with the mother, that would be different. It wouldn't be appropriate behavior. If he lived with a woman, she had 4 kids, one of the kids was his, and then he just came home with one bag of goodies for one child that happens to be his child, and then the other 3 are sitting there wondering like, okay, where's my McDonald's? That to me is totally different. But a father wanting to take his child out to eat or pick his child up to eat and then take his child out for an evening dinner, lunch, whatever, brings his child back, I don't think he's obligated to buy for other children. Now, if he has a good rapport with the other children and he chooses he wants to do that, that's his choice. But logically speaking, I can't see a man doing that all the time. Every time he goes out and buys something for his child, he's now bringing gifts for 3 other children, food for 3 other children. Like I said, if he chooses to, that's his prerogative. But in this day and time, things are higher, food's higher. Most of you see the price of food has gone up, fast food, everything, clothes, shoes. I doubt someone's going to be feeding somebody else's children just because they are buying for their child and that child lives in the household. That's just my opinion. Thank you for joining me this Everyday Shenanigans. If you'd like to donate to the dream of this network, yes, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All chats and stickers are welcome during this live. Thank you all so much for the support. God bless all of you. Hello, Marie. How are you? Thank you. And thank you, T. Thank you so much, honey. Thank you so much. Queen can be controversial at times. I've known to get a little crunk. I've known to cry. I've known to holler a little bit. I'm working on my disposition. I'm a very high-strung individual. When I'm very passionate about things that I believe in. It's not to say I can't change my mind, but at that time when I'm speaking, if I get a little hype on something, that's coming from the heart. That's not coming from show. That's not coming from, trying to put on. I mean, I can be a little bit, jazzy at times, but the point is, I feel the way I feel. And there are other people who have difference of opinions. They're entitled to their opinion. But as I've told you, I'm not a follower. So I don't follow in behind other people. I didn't get to 51 by being a follower. And that's what some puppies need to understand. Okay? You can't get to this age with all the things of tumbleweeds and rocks and boulders and jumping through hula hoops to survive. You can't get to where the queen has gotten by being a follower. And that's one reason why I know a lot of people don't take to me well. It's because I'm not a follower. I don't jump in the lake. I don't jump in the ocean because 5, 6 other people decided to jump. You understand? Queen knows she can't swim, for one. 2, as I said, I'm not a follower. So I'm not jumping in. You want to jump in and knock yourself out. To each its own. That's not my style. That was my first topic about Boosie and the McDonald's challenge. Should a baby daddy bring food for other siblings? Thank you, Just Survivor. Thank you so much. Thank you, Stardust. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. Okay, what's next on the agenda? What else would you all like to discuss? As far as the Camille McKinney case, I haven't gotten any new updates pertaining to a trial date, but when I get that information, I will bring it to you. It's long running, it seems, and I do not know why this trial has not started, but it hasn't. But when I get the update, I'll bring it to you. I don't have any new information on the cases I brought you last week. As most of you know, the case with Eris King Jr., he has been laid to rest, and his killer killed himself. He barricaded himself in a home in West Knoxville and shot at the police and then later killed himself. But that's a situation I'd like to get into possibly during this live. I didn't want to do an individual video as not to offend anyone, family members, but there's some things that has stirred about pertaining to that case that are troublesome to me. And I'm going to chop that up later during this live. As far as Tyanja Duff, she will be laid to rest this week, coming Wednesday. And that's another tragic situation that makes no sense to me either. I don't have any more new information pertaining to The suspect, all I know is she's not in custody. I've gone on the websites to see that she is not in custody. I do not know about the other participants who were there when she was shot. When I get more information pertaining to that story, I will bring it to you. As far as Jafesha L. Mitchell, I don't have any new information pertaining to her death. A guy was being surveyed by police, went on the run, went on a chase on the highway. He dumped his car in Western Heights. It is a public housing development in Northwest Knoxville. He finally came out, surrendered peacefully. 2 other females were taken into custody, a white female, a black female, as you see in the video that I've posted to YouTube. I don't have any new information if he indeed is the suspect in her murder. She was found in her car in an alley off of Louise Avenue in East Knoxville. When I get more information, I'll bring that to you. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Powder Puff. How are you? Welcome, welcome, everybody. So that's the gist of the stories from last week. There's a weird story out of Michigan. It's about a month old. It's very wicked. I'm trying to put the pieces together. I saw it today in the queue. It's a very, very wicked story of an ex-cop out of Detroit who was found in a park, deceased, badly decomposed. His neighbor, African-American male, these are two African-American men. The neighbor appears to be a younger guy, had possession of his guns and his car, and he did a drive-by at least 2 times to someone's home. So what we have to ask ourselves is, how did he get the guns? How did he get the neighbor, the ex-cop's car? They did say when they went and did a search warrant to the ex-cop's home, it seems it appeared to have been a mild struggle, whatever mild means. And that's the gist of that. I went in searching today, trying to get more information. They've had a lot of craziness going on in Detroit with another cop being murdered. But this case is baffling to me about this Detroit cop, retired cop, now dead, and his neighbor had his car and ammunition in his possession and went on a drive-by to someone else's home. And the retired cop was found not too far from his own house. So how did the guy get in his house? Were they friends? Were they friendly? Did he come over to borrow sugar? What? He let him in. They got to tussling. He overpowered the cop. So one could say, how is that? This guy probably was a nicely built guy. The suspect, you can see he's a thinner built guy. Not to say that he's not a strong guy, but just saying he's a thinner built guy, the suspect. So how did he overpower the retired cop? And how did he get him out of that house? Because I believe he's a suspect. Because what is he doing with his car and his guns? And you just so happen to be a neighbor? So hell yeah, you're behind the death of that man, the robbery of his goods, and that's bold. Okay? You went to this man's house, got in some type of way, overpower him, kill him. You had to take him out of there, dispose of his body in a nearby park with a no outlet, and then ride around in his car and do drive-bys in his car with his guns. Is this personal? Did he end up having some issues with the law up there? And this cop worked the case, beat what? Very strange. I'll play a little bit of that for you. Thank you for joining me, everybody. 3 years on YouTube. Amen. Thank you. Well, we've learned about how brazen they can be because they're brazen all the time. Every story is of somebody doing something they don't have any business. I'm also going to bring you some more commentary by one of the housewives of Atlanta who is new to the network as far as getting impeached. That's Miss Marlo Hampton. Her house was, there was attempted break-in her house. She had to call law enforcement. These guys have been linked to a ring of robberies and home invasions down in Atlanta, Georgia. They have apprehended 4 suspects. They are still looking for the ringleader. We're going to chop that up too. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Let's see what we got here. I'm also going to bring you a wicked story out of New Orleans. We're going to talk about that. We're just going to go all over the place today. Just talk about various things and how I came to be Everyday Shenanigans. Many of you are probably wondering, how did I get the title for my channel? I don't know. I think one day I was talking about something and I said, man, Everyday Shenanigans, always something. And then I thought, wait a minute, that's going to be the name for the channel. First, I used my name because I didn't know how to do all that in the Google naming. I just used my name at first. But the channel was always Everyday Shenanigans. It just wasn't on the logo for the channel. But anyway, Everyday Shenanigans, here I am. Let's chop up this story. This is some wicked stuff going on. I'm going to bring you something out of Miami. Trina's niece has been gunned down in Miami. The rapper Trina got a lot of stories for you just to chop up and bring. A lot of craziness. Let's see. Hold on one second. Oh, come on now. This iPad is not wanting to behave. It's slow motion. Oh, God. I see I'm going to have a problem loading everything. It doesn't want to load. Well, I don't think I got that story. The Michigan cop. Let me type it in. Hold on. Hey, Gail, how are you, honey?
While at work, I had a severe...
Wait 1 second. Well,
barefoot injury.
I was sideswiped by a car.
I was involved in a series.
A day of terror in a Detroit neighborhood, and this was all caught on camera. It started yesterday morning with a man and a high-powered rifle blasting a home with bullets, even appearing to dance with the gun. Just hours later, he came back.
got too much going on.
This is insane. He wildly pumped more bullets into that home, even with children inside. Then late last night, the Michigan State Police chopper helped officers on the ground find that suspect and take him into custody. But the case is not over. It's now uncovered the disappearance of a former police officer. 7 Action News reporter Jim Kirshner is live with what is behind this crazy case. Jim, fill us in.
Carolyn, that's the big mystery. That guy taken into custody remains in custody. It's not clear if he's cooperating. That house you saw getting shot up twice, clearly targeted, but why?
This is an individual just terrorizing a neighborhood. Now, I can tell you right now, we have no idea why.
This is the first shooting caught on video at 11 a.m. yesterday. You can see the gunman dancing around in the street
with a towel on his head. It's crazy.
First shots. Then he props up the gun on top of the car, ready to fire more. Video number 2 at 2:30, the same house, the same gunman opens fire into the house with 5 adults and 3 kids inside. One man in the house is shot in the hand but not seriously injured. You can see today the big front window of the house boarded up. By the time the gunman makes it back to his car, he's under fire.
Other homeowner fired back upon him as he ran back to his car. I think in the video you can see the back window being blown out.
Yep, straight along the fence line, right up ahead of you. He's about 6 yards out in front of you.
The manhunt went late into the night. You're riding in a state police chopper with night vision, helping officers on the ground close in.
He's getting up right now and running northbound. He's still carrying something, guys. Heads up.
Several officers from Detroit, Wayne County, Michigan State Police made
very crazy
arrest.
Great job, Scout.
It all happened without incident. They recovered these 2 guns and a car that were owned by this man, 41-year-old Stefan Hodo, a former Detroit cop from 2005 to 2013. He left the department with a clean record.
At the house, there does appear to be a little bit of a struggle. We just want to make sure that he's okay, he's fine.
So police are asking Hodo to contact them so they can figure out if he's a victim or more. If you know where he is, you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-SPEAK-UP. Police have a lot to put together with this case. Live downtown, Jim Kurtz, 7 Action News.
We called it crazy.
All right, that's WXYZ TV Detroit for that source. I'm going to read you a little bit pertaining to this information. Thank you, Brittany. So good to the queen. Thank you so much, sweetheart. God bless you. Thank you so much. Let me go in here and send you my love. Yes, all super chat stickers are welcome during this live. Thank you all so much. Let's see what we can get about this story here. It's a very baffling story. Now my volumes, like all my electronics are acting strange. Lord, what is the deal? Okay. Hello, Diane. How are you? Thank you. Fox 2 Detroit is the source. The decomposing body in Detroit Park is former DPD officer Stephen Hodo, sources say. This was uploaded July 20th. The remains of a body that was found decomposing in a Detroit park last week have been confirmed to be missing former DPD officer Stefan Hodo, sources told Fox 2 Wednesday. Remains were found last Thursday, July 14th, decomposing in Stoppel Park on the city's west side last week. Detroit Police Chief James White said that that day that it appeared the remains were to be Hodo, but the department was waiting for ruling from the medical examiner to make a determination. Sadly, a lot of things are pointing to that. It may, in fact, be our retired officer, White said last Thursday. The tragic discovery happened weeks after police reported that a former officer went missing after his car was stolen. Firearms registered to Hodo had been used in shootings allegedly committed by his neighbor, as I showed you that video just now. The suspect we took into custody is with our retired police officer. So we have that car with our suspect, and we are still looking for our former officer, Assistant Detroit Police Chief Charles Fitzgerald said. The investigation into Hodo's disappearance started after police began looking into a shootout between a man who twice shot up a Detroit home in late June. The car and guns used in that shooting belonged to Hodo, police said. Surveillance footage from the home on Ferguson Road showed the suspect jumping around the yard of a home, wielding a firearm. Fitzgerald characterized the individual's actions as terrorizing the neighborhoods. He was arrested late June 30th. Fox 2 Detroit is the source. Thank you all for joining me. This is a puzzling story. I mean, you can use deductions. The neighbor had to have made contact with Mr. Hodo, the retired cop, went into his home, killed him, stole his ammunition, goods, and car keys and car, dumped this man's body 9 times out of 10 using his own damn car, dumped his body in a park, went on this shooting spree of whomever's house, and finally apprehended. This is disturbing because you have to now try to piece together how he was able to get into the retired cop's home to steal his goods kill him, go on the shooting spree, dump the man's body, and then go back home as if it's nothing. So where has he been in the car all that time? He couldn't have brought the car back because neighbors would see him pulling up in his own driveway with the car or parking off the street. Like, what the hell are you doing with that guy's car? So what did he do after he killed him, put him in the car? Because I believe he had to use that car, dump his body. Where was he all that time with the man's car? Very strange. Thank you so much. Thank you, Grandma. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so kindly, honey. All right, what we got next up? Okay. Let's go to Miami. There was a shooting in Miami. The rapper Trina, her niece has been gunned down. Let's talk about that. CBS Miami is the source.
When you first met Stride K-12, you were one of the more than 2 million students who took charge of their education with Stride K-12 Power School.
Sorry about that.
Deadly triple shooting claims the life of a 17-year-old girl. Family members telling us she was a niece of Miami rapper Trina. The gunfire also striking 2 other victims who drove themselves to the hospital. CBS 4's Deborah Superine is there. And Deborah, what else have you learned?
Well, Maribel, family members tell us the 17-year-old victim was shot and killed at the scene of this shooting. They tell us that she was a student here, a local student here in South Florida, and she was excited about starting her senior year of high school just a few weeks from now. Now, there were 2 other people at the scene who were also shot. They're here at JMH. We're told they're still recovering.
At approximately midnight, shots rang out. Our shot spotter alert went off, and multiple 911 calls did as well.
Chopper 4 shows the scene from above as officers marked each piece of evidence they found outside of this apartment unit along Northwest 13th Avenue and 62nd Street early Wednesday morning. According to family, the 17-year-old victim, who family and friends called Sugar, was leaving a corner store and walking towards this neighborhood when gunshots rang out.
The officers arrived. What they found was that there was a woman who was suffering from apparent gunshot wounds.
Detectives say 2 others who were also wounded took themselves to the hospital. And nearly 2 hours after that shooting, police found this black SUV with shot-out windows along Northwest 86th Street and 12th Avenue. You can see a shattered back windshield and side passenger window.
Motive behind the shooting remains under investigation. We do know that the woman who was pronounced deceased on the scene was there visiting. She didn't live in that precise area, but there's a lot that we're still trying to figure out. There's an additional scene that could be related also to the shooting, but we're still trying to figure a lot out.
Just a really heartbreaking story, and police need help with this case. Anyone with information is urged to contact Miami Police. You could also reach out to Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers if you would prefer to remain anonymous. Reporting from JMH, I'm Deborah.
Superine is there. And Deborah.
All right, everybody, this is CBS Miami for the source. Trina, the rapper Trina's niece has been gunned down. What happened? They're alleging that she was visiting the neighborhood. So was she visiting someone or just visiting us? What? Excuse me. Visiting whom? Who does she know over there in that neighborhood? Was she at a house? They showed a car in the beginning. Let me show you that. Hold on 1 second. We're going to go back a little bit.
CBS 4's Deborah Superine is there. And Deborah, what else have you learned?
Hold on, let me see something.
Well, Maribel, family members tell us the 17-year-old victim was shot and killed at the scene of this shooting. They tell us that she was a student here, a local student here in South Florida, and she was excited about starting her senior year of high school.
Senior year.
Weeks from now.
17.
There were 2
sad.
other people at the scene who were also shot. They're here at JMH. We're told they're still recovering.
2 others injured.
At approximately midnight, shots rang out. Our shot spotter alert went off, and multiple 911 calls did as well.
Chopper 4 shows the scene from above as officers marked each piece of evidence they found outside of this apartment unit along Northwest
Outside an apartment.
Avenue and 62nd Street early Wednesday morning. According to family, the 17-year-old victim, who family and friends called Sugar, was leaving a corner store and walking towards this neighborhood when gunshots rang out.
So she's walking toward this neighborhood.
What we found was that there was a woman who was suffering from
hair. 12 o'clock midnight. Awfully late for a teenager to be out walking around in the dark. I understand possibly it's still considered summer in Miami. Not time for school, perhaps. So one would question that. What was she doing out that time of night, midnight, walking around? It's just an urban neighborhood. So let's say it's the hood. What is she doing walking around at midnight in the hood? Whether she lived there, didn't live there. What was she doing out that time of night, unsupervised? Was she standing at the curb? Because you can see the little yellow marks that's right near the curb. So was she standing at the curb talking to somebody, conversating, or just walking by on the sidewalk, passing through? My condolences to Trina and her family. See, you don't know where you're going to be when something jumps off. You can also ask the question, was she an intended victim? I don't know. Nonetheless, she was a child. 17 years old is considered a child in this country. So a child has been gunned down hanging outside an apartment complex. And that's the point of the story. How did she end up there? Why was she there? Did she know anybody there? Was she just walking by that sidewalk to get to the next location, such as her own house? Does she live in the vicinity of this shooting? Or was she out talking to somebody, visiting somebody? Who's the shooter? What was their end game? Why were they shooting at people, persons at this apartment complex? It's very sad. Our youth, they don't have it. Their days, I'm telling you, you have to be very careful, as I've spoken so many times on this network. You have to be careful of the company you keep, the people you're around, the people you surround yourself with, the people you like, you date, your own family, friends, associates, because you don't know people. And sometimes, as I said, you know that the people you're hanging around are crunk. You might be that person that gets crunk, unruly. You should know your days can be short, depending on your demeanor and how you carry yourself. The next story is coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Fox 5 is the source. This is pertaining to one of the new housewives, Marlo Hampton. Her house is breached. Thank you so much for joining me.
Figures after becoming the victim of a home invasion.
Yeah, Real Housewives of Atlanta reality star Marlo Hampton's home is among more than a dozen in Sandy Springs, targeted by a criminal organization. Police posted 4 suspects, gang members, on Sunday.
Fox 5's Deidre Dukes joins us live tonight. And Deidre, you spoke with Hampton about the terrifying ordeal.
And she tells me that she has increased security at her home. She's watching what she posts on social media, and she's encouraging celebrities to do the same. Meanwhile, the search continues for other suspects, including the group's ringleader.
I got hands. Police body cameras were rolling early Sunday as officers moved in, nabbing 4 men, alleged gang members, suspected of committing more than a dozen home invasions in Sandy Springs. Officers had staked out a residence on the 600 block of Lockton Place after receiving information that the gang planned to break in at the home of the mother of the child of famous rapper Future.
We were fortunate that night they decided to come to us, and we were able to make the 4 arrests.
The arrests mark a major break in a year-long investigation into a major criminal organization committing home invasions and burglaries in Sandy Springs and other parts of the metro area.
They had been in the area before, and they've been all through Sandy Springs, using social media as a way to find and locate different victims. And based off the intelligence that we had, we thought that they might be in that area again, and we were fortunate.
The group targets celebrities, entertainers, and other high-profile figures. Police say players with the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United are among the victims. The 4 arrested Sunday and other gang members are suspects in 15 home invasions in Sandy Springs, including a July 4th break-in at this home on Parkside Place, where a resident was shot. They are also considered possible suspects in similar crimes in other parts of the metro area.
I look at the phone and you just see these organized. I mean, what have it done? What, they kick in the door and I scream.
Real Housewives of Atlanta reality show star Marlo Hampton was one of those victims. Suspects kicked in the front door of her Sandy Springs residence July 1st, but ran off when a startled Hampton saw the men on her security cameras and began screaming.
But I just feel they were not thinking anyone was going, and he took off running. What they were like, oh shit. Because in their mind, they're watching. You know, we're gone.
Hampton says she and her 2 nephews had just returned home from an out-of-town trip, but believes the men didn't think she was home based on her social media posts.
I just want women in the industry, like myself, to be aware of us soldiers. I want us to get protection, that is firearms, that you go to the training board. I want to make sure your home is secure. Like I just got a bill going now. Sandy Springs that came to my home and they did a home assessment.
And while she does say that she is revisiting what she posts on social media, Hampton did say that she did not post anything the day that she returned home that would lead those individuals to believe that she was away, that she was not there at the residence. But still, she says this is an eye-opener for everyone in the spotlight, and that she suggests that anyone, including celebrities, really revisit how they use social media. Meantime, the search does continue for the man that police are calling the ringleader, Jeremy Caldwell. Anyone with information as to his possible whereabouts has to contact Sandy Springs Police. Live in Sandy Springs, Deidre Dukes, Fox 5 News.
All right, everybody, this is Fox 5 Atlanta for The Source. Let's chop up what was said in this commentary. Marlo doesn't feel like she posted anything that was incriminating for someone to break into her house. But did she post where she was at the time before returning home? You see, if you were gone day 3, day 4, whatever, you're posting pictures of being on the island or New York or South Carolina, wherever, these people were watching and they realized, okay, we know where she lives. 1, she's not home. She's posting pictures of she and her nephew or friends over here, 6 hours away, wherever she was. You didn't have to post anything that day. You posted stuff properly days before of your trip. Thank you, Smile Fries. You posted pictures before. So they assume you're still gone. So they cased out the place, didn't see any movement. Perhaps you have a garage, so your car, your truck, SUV, or whatever is parked in your garage, so they can't see anybody coming or going. So they're assuming you're still gone. And you hear them saying other athletes, important people with money status have had their houses broken into. So that means these people are obviously watching these people, social media posts to see when they're leaving, traveling, get the location of where they live, and bust in. Now you have to ask the ultimate question, how are they finding their address? Because even if I post a picture outside of my home or whatever, how are you going to know where that place is to break in? Atlanta is small, like so many other small cities, and people talk. So a lot of people probably thinking Atlanta is really big. Atlanta is probably made up more of boroughs and outside towns than what's the actual population inside of Atlanta, Georgia. So people are going to talk, and people always are signifying about what area of Atlanta they live in. Well, I live in Atlanta, but I live in Sandy Springs. I live in Cobb County. I live in Marietta. I live in Johns Creek. Okay, how long do you think it's going to take for somebody to find out? because people talk. People get on social media and talk. Oh, Marlo came in here at the shop today and bought this. And, oh, she brought the boys in for ice cream, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, these guys are savvy. They can just hang around these places. In your mind, you're thinking, oh, who's going to go through all that trouble hanging around an ice cream shop or this place and that place? It's what I just said. The people talk. People love telling who came in their business and bought something, telling what they bought. Then you're posting pictures of the ice cream shop and this and that. Well, all somebody has to do is go on over to the place. God forbid you're still hanging around that place where you just did a live on IG, because most famous people are on IG. So imagine you going live on IG, you're posting you're at an ice cream shop or Louis Vuitton or wherever that you're patronizing. The people show up, you're still there. They follow you to your car. Ding. Now I'm following you home. Ding. Now I know where you live. Ding. Now all I have to do is sit and watch you. That's where the problem comes in. Once the person has been followed home or the location has been assessed by information, why are the neighbors and people not watching to see somebody sitting in their car parked? Because we know people will watch cars in the neighborhood. So what are we saying? These crooks are sitting in expensive cars and SUVs staking out these people's homes? I'm just saying. Because you've got to be able to sit and watch to see, to assume that nobody's there. And a lot of these places, I'm sure, have gated communities. So how are they getting in the gate? You would be suspicious parking your car somewhere down the road and walking and jumping over a high gate with what, a backpack? That wouldn't be suspicious? There are no security cameras on the poles in the neighborhood of a gated community? I'm just asking. I don't know. How would a person get in a gated community? You'd have to have a code. So are some of these houses in gated communities? Because now you have to ask yourself if this is possibly an inside job of somebody that works security. Just asking. Because that doesn't add up if the houses are in gated communities. I don't think hers is in a gated community. I'm not sure. She has more like a townhouse. She might want to consider now upgrading, since now she's got a peach, higher income, now being a housewife on the show. She might want to upgrade, sell that house she's in, find something else. Find something else. It's not to say that people can't find out where she's at, because as I said, people talk. Small towns, people talk. Small cities, people talk. And there are ways of people getting your address out there, because you still have to pay bills, light, water, gas, mortgage. That is how people get your information, and they'll sell it to somebody. Maybe not no thug on the street, but just saying. They get to talking to people, and people get to talking to them. Before you know it, it starts up here, and now the gossip's down here, where the regular random people can hear, oh, yeah, I hear she lives off of such and such street. Oh, she's got a new house over here. Or he's got a new house over here. Oh, he lives in this new community over here, or this old community here. Now random people know where the hell you stay. It's dangerous. Yes, should need a code. Most homes have ring cams, even if it isn't gated community. A lot of people have ring cams. Yes, but let's talk about that for a second. Her scream made them leave. Well, let's keep it real. They left because obviously they weren't the type to murder you. And lucky for Marlo and her boys, nephews, they didn't continue to push through the door after she screamed. Because you do have robbers that don't mind snuffing you out. So for her sake, she got robbers that didn't want to kill her and her children. You understand what I'm saying? Because you do have robbers that do kill. So she's very fortunate to be alive, not beat up, battered, she and the boys. Because imagine had she got robbers that came in that wanted to just not just ransack the house, but also play some funny games. So she's very fortunate because they didn't have to stop because she screamed. They could have easily ran up through the house and found her, but they were obviously scared. But that's the thing about crime, is that every criminal is not the same. One could hear you screaming, he or she don't care. They're going to press forward. Let's find the problem. Let's close the mouth of the problem and finish the job we came to do. Very scary. I'm sure she's petrified at this point, because you got to remember, her being on the show so many years, they've shown the front facade of her home 1,001 times, just like all the other reality stars' houses. They always show their home first, and then they go into the script of the show. So people have a visual of a house. So I don't know if you can throw that picture up through Google, and Google gives you an address of you posting the picture and asking Google, hey, can you spot this house for me and tell me where this house is located? I don't know. But the point is, if somebody wants in your house, they'll get in there. They'll find a way, be it gated community, Ring cameras, security, ADT, whatever. If they want in there bad enough, they'll get in there. And if they're willing to risk being shot in there or apprehended by authorities, they will do it. The point is, every crook is not the same. That's what you have to remember. All right, next story. Let's see what else I've got for you. Let's talk about this crazy woman out of Atlanta. We've got a dirty judge who's facing 50 counts of theft from homeowners association, stealing people's monies. I don't really know. I was kind of barely listening to this story, but we're going to go ahead and bring this out. It's a very wicked story.
Veteran Ryan Ritchie supports term limits and will stop career politicians and tax hikes. How residents are getting a step. What is Tennessee? It's an organization.
Busy world we're living in.
During a homeowners association meeting has Douglas County probate judge Christina Peterson and more.
Fox 5 is the source, Atlanta.
Already faces complaints from a state regulatory board, which asked but failed to get her temporarily suspended from office last year.
Fox 5 IT reporter Randy Travis returns with more on his investigation. Brent? Troy Rustin Courtney Peterson's only been in office a year and a half. Already she faces 50 counts. That's 50, accusing her of violating the Georgia Code of Judicial Conduct. The March meeting was supposed to be a friendly town hall for the residents of the Silver Creek Ranch neighborhood in Douglas County. Then Christina Peterson began speaking, repeating her demand the board be thrown out and make way for a special election.
You have the ability to call a special election to give the homeowners the opportunity to come, congregate, nominate, and elect their own.
The probate judge knows what she's talking about. Listen to her. She got 2 pending lawsuits against us right now.
The angry reaction to Peterson stems from a lawsuit she and others filed in 2017 against the HOA that led to a $70,000 settlement. According to a complaint filed against her by the Judicial Qualifications Commission, Peterson never shared that money with her clients.
Do solemnly affirm.
It's one of 50 counts of alleged misconduct Peterson now faces.
You're going to follow the law. Do what the Supreme Court tells you to do. How about you pay attention to that? Why you stole the $70,000 from your plaintiffs? Get them that money.
If you're suing and you're getting money or you're taking something from this community, I don't think you should be speaking out like that. Don't take that from somebody who ain't got nothing.
The JQC accused Peterson of violating the Code of Judicial Conduct in the meeting by advising the HOA that they are getting bad advice from their legal counsel. You're an attorney. Would you start to negotiate with the other side's clients when you knew that they were represented?
I think the issue with this is that for a judge, you don't give up your right to speak or to talk. And I don't know that this was a negotiation.
Well, now we're up to 50 counts. That sounds like a lot.
It sounds like a lot because they keep adding and adding and adding counts because they utterly failed in trying to get her interim suspended last year.
I feel like he was walking into a trap.
Last year, Peterson ordered this woman jailed for contempt of court after she asked to change her father's name on her marriage license. PJ Skelton only learned of her real father's name after the wedding, but Peterson decided she had lied when she filled out the original form.
So you guys thought it was just going to be an easy paperwork change?
Completely fix it. If I'd known, to be honest with you, if I'd known that she went to jail behind this, I would have told her just forget about it.
The JQC said Peterson failed to respect and comply with the law. She has denied the allegations. But that's not the only marriage where Peterson finds herself in trouble.
You cannot go in this building. And eventually she went in.
Said, quote,
sorry about that.
I would have told her just forget about it.
The JQC said Peterson failed to respect and comply with the law. She has denied
this judge is doing her own thing.
But that's not the only marriage where Peterson finds herself in trouble.
You cannot go in this building. And eventually she went in.
The Fox 5i team also revealed how Peterson ignored safety rules by allowing the public into the courthouse for weekend wedding ceremonies when no deputies were assigned to the security checkpoint. JQC said she did this despite being told no by the sheriff's office.
Did the judge put anybody at risk that day?
She put all of the employees that work in this courthouse and the citizens who would come that Monday morning at risk.
Peterson's attorney, Lester Tate, once served on the JQC. He said he's never seen a case with so many counts.
If they had something that was serious enough to be removed from the bench, one count was sufficient to do that. It's just bizarre to me that they want to continue adding to it, but it's also abundantly clear to me that the reason they do is because they feel like they don't have enough to prevail.
The neighborhood HOA president, Derek Houston, said his attorney would not let him talk on camera, but as for Peterson, he said, quote,
I don't know what's going on.
Her actions were disruptive and her comments were totally unprofessional and inappropriate. And by the way, the neighborhood is going to have their annual meeting and election next month, so that may take the wind out of the sails of the judge's lawsuit against her neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, you told us that she faces 50 counts of violating judicial conduct code. How's that possibly going to be resolved?
It's a lot of counts, isn't it? I'm told that they have to do discovery now, and it may be a while before the case actually gets to the state Supreme Court. A lot of times these cases get resolved, they get settled. I'm not sure that's going to be the case with this one.
Yeah, it sounds like this is not the last we're going to hear about this one.
No, in fact, who knows? I mean, there could be some more counts. I'll let you know if there are.
All right. Randy, thanks.
All right. Fox 5 Atlanta is the source. Well, this judge has some issues. They're saying that she did not split the settlement of this HOA's lawsuit. She also was letting people in the courthouse on the weekends to do weddings. I don't understand what's the issue with this lady. I just think she has a big head, and she's just using her title as a judge to do what she wants to do. Naturally, she still can practice law. She has to keep a law license, I'm assuming, as a judge, because you become a lawyer first, then a judge. So I think she's just doing what she wants. Once she's been knocked down, brought back to reality, she'll possibly learn a lesson. That's it. Will they sue her for theft? The monies? We will see. That won't look good on her record as a judge, being sued for theft, because theft is a crime. $70,000 is definitely a felony. That's over $1,000. So we will see what happens. Very interesting information. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you, Sean J. Thank you. Thank you. Retailers closing. Kroger, Costco. Well, Don, I don't see Kroger shutting down. Kroger is a very big business here in my demographic. I live near 2 Krogers, so I don't see Kroger closing. I have not heard anything about Kroger closing, so that's kind of scary. But Kroger is competitive with, I'm sure, Walmart, and there are just certain things that each store doesn't carry. See, naturally, I do a lot of my shopping at Kroger. There are many people, a lot of black people I've met, swear for God, excuse me, Lord, that Kroger is more expensive. And they'll go shop at Food City. And to me, Food City is higher. Food City doesn't have as much as Kroger. Food City has a limited amount of food specialty items in their store. Kroger has an abundance of name brand items plus their own Kroger items. And then I believe Kroger is a bigger chain than Food City. Food City's from, I believe, up north. And Kroger, I think their headquarters is up north as well. But I believe Kroger is bigger than Food City, the chain itself. I don't know about them closing here. I think a lot of people would be raising holy hell if Kroger was to close, because a lot of people shop at Kroger here in this general area where I am in East Tennessee. So we'll get on to our next topic. Let's see what else we've got lined up for you guys. All right. Here's a crazy story I found today in the queue as well. This one's a bit winded. I'm not going to play that guy's commentary. Let me break down the story for this next story out of Florida. A young lady has been dating a guy. Something goes awry to where they're not together. He comes over to her house where she's living with her mother. And there's some words exchanged. Her brother ends up showing up to intervene. I'm assuming that she called him, the sister, and there's a murder. He leaves eventually the state of Florida, flees to good old Tennessee. Oh, not Florida, New Orleans. I'm sorry, I'm getting my stories mixed up. He was in New Orleans. I don't know why I said Florida. I'm looking at another story. This took place in New Orleans. I think I'm mixing up my stories because I'm mixing my stories up. I'm looking at both of them and they're running neck to neck. That's not the story I want. I've got so many stories up here to play. Oh my God, it's like 1,001. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me get this up here. I'm mixing my stories up. I'm sorry. Let me start with this one. Younger guy dating an older woman. I don't know what the age difference is. This is 3 weeks ago. He kills her outside apartment building. You can see in the photograph him carrying a heavy artillery, shoots her outside her apartment building. She and him been going back and forth, put out a restraining order, didn't follow through with it. Later, he comes back and kills her. One guy's network here on YouTube is saying that she stole money from him. I don't know if that's true or not, but we're going to go ahead and chop it up and see what we can find out about this story here. Very wicked. Lord have mercy. Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you'd like to donate to this network, the dream, $ Big Angie, 129 Cash App. All stickers and chats are welcome. Thank you so much.
For a man, New Orleans police say shot and killed a woman on Iberville Street, then drove to Middle Tennessee, where police there say he shot a police officer.
It's a shocking case now that has gone across the state. Law enforcement officers all over the Southeast looking for the man that's on your screen right now. This is 32-year-old BJ Brown. Well, tonight we're learning more about the relationship Brown may have had with the woman he's accused of killing, Cassandra Jones.
Investigators say Brown shot and killed Jones around 9:30 yesterday morning. He then drove more than 500 miles to Erin, Tennessee. That's northwest of Nashville. And as Mike McDaniel explains in tonight's top story, court records point to past domestic abuse and a petition for protection that never happened.
Wanted for murder, New Orleans police are looking for 32-year-old BJ Brown, accused of killing a woman who family members identify as Cassandra Jones.
This was a black woman that was brutally gunned down, murdered.
It happened Monday morning inside an apartment complex in the 1400 block of Iberville Street. A witness tells Eyewitness News Brown shot Jones in the back. She ran, then collapsed. That's when video circulating online shows a man walk up to Jones with a long gun, shooting her at least 2 more times. Family members of Jones say she and Brown used to date, and according to court records, there's a history of domestic abuse. Jones filed a petition for protection back in May, accusing Brown of multiple forms of abuse: physical, mental, financial, and sexual. In a written statement, Jones wrote Brown even tried to smother her with a pillow after an argument. The clerk of court says a temporary restraining order was never put in place because for whatever reason, Jones never proceeded with it. She even worked in the office as a deputy clerk for the last year.
New Orleans is known for crime and domestic violence. It's kind of serious in our community.
Chris Davis lives near where the murder happened and is shaken by it.
It was just awful. It shouldn't happen. That type of stuff shouldn't happen in broad daylight in a normal community, you know?
And it didn't end in that community. Brown is also linked to shooting an officer Monday night while on the run, 530 miles away near Erin, Tennessee, west of Nashville. That's where an emotional police chief, Mark Moore, says an officer tried to make a traffic stop only to be shot by Brown before he ran away.
Make no mistake whatsoever. This was an ambush on an officer.
Moore says that officer is expected to survive. This type of crime in New Orleans has activist Amir Baraka worried about the future of the city.
When a young man can walk with a machine gun, shoot a woman, and just walk around the apartment building, then come back and finish it off, that's bold. That's bold. He don't give a damn.
A bold move caught on video, now etched in the minds of the community. Mike McDaniel, Eyewitness News.
Did you ever live or serve at Camp
All right. When you look at the video, you'll see the woman moving around outside like on a median, lying on her back. Excuse me. Excuse me. Some will probably say, and I saw this in comments, she should have played dead. So obviously she was moaning, groaning, you know, probably saying, why? He came back, finished her off. This is a very wicked story of a woman, allegedly older than this guy, street guy, because the fact that he's walking around with this heavy artillery in broad daylight, didn't mind gunning her down till death, finished her off. He was nobody to play with. One rumor that I saw on another person's network is that she was married and stole money from him to give to her husband. I do not know if the allegation is true or not. That's just from somebody else's network. But I'm going to go in here and do a little research to see what Google has to say about this very wicked story. Lord have mercy.
Head facts every woman should know. What one man won't do.
1 second. I also hear that there's a salmonella outbreak related to turtles across 11 states. This is linked to pet turtles. So if some of you have turtles, you might want to not have your children touching them. That's the same information. Oh, Lordy. I don't think I have it. Let me see. And also now Michigan Supreme Court rules that taking fingerprints without a warrant is unconstitutional. So they can no longer now pull you over and do a traffic stop and ask for your fingerprints. It has to be a warrant issue in order for the state of Michigan to take your fingerprints. So for those of you who are living in this great state, you now have this set of information. Detroit News is the source for that. I'm trying to bring you all the stories that I had lined up. I'm going to have to go and Google to search about this. Thank you all for joining me. Hold on 1 second. Oh, Diane, you couldn't see it? Oh, sorry about that. I'm sorry. I didn't know you couldn't see it. So I couldn't read your comments after I had showed it. Hello, Amy. How are you? Sorry about that. This was uploaded July 16, 2020. Let me play their version of the news. Let's see what they have to say about this. Well, you need to be careful handling it because they're saying there's a salmonella outbreak across 11 states. People who are handling turtles because of water, waste, things like that.
Say they've discovered the body of a woman near the intersection of the I-10 service road and Bullard. Megan King will join us live from the scene where that investigation is ongoing.
Let me see if this is the same girl.
Megan?
Yeah, this one.
Yes, good morning, Sheba. Yeah, we are here.
I don't know if this is the same one. Hold on. Oh no, this isn't the girl. She got shot during the daytime. Wait a minute. So they probably have so many people shot, it's ridiculous. Yeah, this is the one, right? I don't want a YouTube video. Okay, this is the one. Crazy. Well, he was already apprehended, so I don't know why they're still. Okay, here it is. KALB is the source. Thank you for joining. Suspect in execution-style New Orleans killing, officer shooting captured in Tennessee. This is a picture of the suspect. Nicest looking black man. B.J. Brown, 32, is accused of killing a woman in New Orleans execution style and fleeing to Tennessee, where he allegedly shot an Aaron police officer during a traffic stop. Aaron is a very small town in Tennessee near Nashville. It has about 1,200 residents. Did my homework earlier. Very small town, medium income, $23,000 for a single person. So it's not a, very affluent area. It's just a nice little quaint town with regular folks, predominantly white people live there. Black people, about 6% or so. What the hell was he doing up there? That's the first thing I thought when I read the information. Like, what was he doing up there? How did he get up there? See, you just never know when people get in trouble. They go all different places, and you're sitting there wondering to yourself, how in the world did they get there? Who do they know there? Well, he got there. I'm going to read you the said information. A man suspected in a killing in New Orleans has been captured by authorities, Tennessee officials said. The city of Aaron posted to Facebook a photograph of B.J. Brown, 32, being pinned to the hood of a vehicle early Wednesday as he was taken into custody. Brown was wanted in 2 states, accused of execution-style murder of Cassandra Jones in New Orleans on Monday morning and shooting a Tennessee police officer who pulled his vehicle over in that state about 12 hours later. Words cannot express the gratitude we feel this morning for all the support from surrounding agencies, our community, and especially our own city of Aaron department. The city said in a subsequent social media post, "We are thankful to each and every one. No other details will be released at this time." Tennessee authorities said Brown abandoned his vehicle after shooting the officer during the traffic stop Monday night and ran into a heavily wooded area about 65 miles west of Nashville. Jones was killed just before 9:30 a.m. Monday in the Iberville housing development. This is the woman that he was dating. Phone video of the killing was captured from a nearby apartment window and widely shared on social media. It shows a man who appears to be armed with a semi-automatic rifle walk up to Jones and shoot her. Jones had filed paperwork on a temporary restraining order against Brown in May after she claimed he had been violent multiple times, but it was never finalized. According to the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, an officer was making a traffic stop in the city of Erin, 65 miles west of Nashville, around 9 p.m. Monday. Erin Police Chief Mark Moore said Browns pulled over and got out of his vehicle before shooting into the officer's car, striking him. Officer Darnell Teber fired back before Brown ran into the woods. Police said Teber was taken to a hospital and in stable condition. Once again, these are the photographs of the suspects who killed a black woman down in New Orleans. She was a deputy clerk, government office down there in the courthouse. She had been dating this guy. They said she's older than him. I do not know how many years older. One YouTuber says she was giving money to her husband. Don't know if she's married or not. But he's considered an ex, filed a restraining order but didn't finalize it. Maybe they were going back and forth. That's what this other YouTuber is alleging, that they were going back and forth. I don't have confirmation yet to say this is true or not. Maybe he was sweet-talking her, don't do it, I love you, blah, blah, blah. And then on this fateful day, this morning, he finds her outside. He shoots her. And then he walks off. And then he comes back and finishes her off. Very deep. Now, let's say, for instance, let's say hypothetical, excuse me. She does have another relationship or married. What is that man thinking? What the hell is she doing lying down here dead and she's with me? Can you imagine being the other person in a relationship with her? And you find out your girlfriend, wife, whomever is dead outside the apartment building, and you've been sleeping with her as well. So one's going to ask that question. If she's married, then where was she meeting this guy at? Where was she canoodling with this guy, this younger guy? See, you don't know people. I keep saying this over and over. Every story is the same. You don't know people. You can't let people in your house. You can't sleep with people. You can't invite people nowhere. You can't pick up people. You can't hang with people. You can't sit on their front stoop. You can't get in their car. You can't sit at their house. You can't do nothing because you don't know people. They start talking crazy, acting crazy, putting their hands on you. You fuss and fight and text and all this shit you do back and forth. And then boom, there's a pop off. Somebody gets tired of listening. Somebody talking, complaining, moaning. They won't answer the phone. They won't be bothered with me anymore. Now I want to snuff them out. See, she had to have known he was violent. Said he knocked her teeth out, is what it said in one commentary. He knocked her teeth out. Now imagine going back to somebody who has just knocked your damn teeth out. You've got to now heal up to get implants, partials, whichsoever, and you still got feelings for this bum. And it happens because your feelings just don't go away because somebody's put their hands on you. And I think we know this from domestic violence. Women staying, going back in. He sweet talks her because he doesn't want to be prosecuted. And he's just as obsessed with her as she's obsessed with him, whatever. This boy was walking around with a damn rifle. Broad daylight, letting folks know, I don't care. Hell yeah, I'm walking up and I'm going to kill this lady. What you got to say about it? Then he flees in his own car. You know, he only got sense enough to just travel by way of not being detected. See, this is when you know your mind's not right. You have to be very careful out here fooling with these people because you don't know people. Let me see if I can get it. That's June 29th. It's very scary. And the thing that bothers me about New Orleans having an uptick of crime now, we already know about the storm that demolished New Orleans in 2005. The whole town damn near flooded. So it took years to rebuild New Orleans. And then after a few years, you start hearing people being robbed, drug trafficking, you know. And the first thing I said was, wait a minute, this town was no longer a city. So how did it get back to people trafficking drugs, people being addicted to drugs, violence? And I always thought that God wiped the slate clean because he wanted to clear out all the evilness that was going on in New Orleans. New Orleans back in the day, back in the 80s, was a terrible place to live, especially for low-income people who had to live in an environment that was crucial, detrimental, just as unsavory as living in New York City. These people were hunting each other, selling drugs, knocking people off, killing people. NOLA was rough. So when they had the Katrina, there was nobody there because there's nothing there. Years later, developers, people start coming in, building the town back up, and then you start hearing these crazy stories, and it's like, wait a minute, this is a town that didn't have anybody there. So then you start hearing stories of the people who were coming there to build the city. They were on drugs. They were addicts. So you had addicts working as construction workers, trying to find a fix. So then you have to ask yourself, okay, well, wait a minute. Then where were the drug dealers at? Because there was nothing there. So the drug dealers had to have been migrating into the town, posting up wherever to serve these workers who are now in the city building New Orleans, serving them drugs. Because I always ask that, well, where were the dope dealers living? Because there was nothing there. There wasn't any places built up. So where were the drug dealers living? It was a very weird transition that I couldn't put my finger on to how the people were buying drugs. But as they say, where there's a will, there's a way. Obviously, people decided to start coming in, even though there was nowhere to stay in New Orleans, but little young fellas coming in to post up, found them some addicts, working, and the cycle started all over again. Then you have these people moving back, being able to get an apartment, home, whatever. They're back doing unsavory things, hanging with unsavory people. So now those people have an avenue to come back in and a place to stay, hang, gangbang, violence, because you're letting them stay in your house. You're letting them stay in your apartment. So the cycle has now started again. So now we're in 2022. That would be 17 years this summer that the town flooded. So in that little short span of time, the city got rebuilt slowly but surely, and the crime wave made its way back. It's very baffling information. Let's see. Okay. Early Wednesday morning, the man accused of murdering a woman in downtown New Orleans was arrested. The suspect is also believed to be the perpetrator in the shooting of a police officer during a traffic stop in Tennessee. According to WKRN in Tennessee, 32-year-old B.J. Brown was apprehended by the Aaron Police Department and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. In the state of Tennessee, Brown will be charged with attempted first-degree murder of a law enforcement officer. Brown allegedly shot a woman to death in Iberville Street on Monday morning. At this time, it is unknown whether the suspect will be immediately extradited to Louisiana to face charges, or if he will remain in Tennessee until his crimes there are addressed. Okay. Then let's see. It says update 6/28/2022. Tuesday afternoon, New Orleans Police Department released information regarding the homicide that took place Monday morning. According to the NOPD, 32-year-old B.J. Brown is wanted for murder. Cassandra Jones. Reports show the NOPD Violent Offenders Warrant Squad and the U.S. Marshals searched for Brown throughout the day and evening of June 27th after a warrant was issued for his arrest. The search crossed state lines when WKRN in Tennessee put out a bolo for Brown for shooting a police officer. anyone for information. This is older at the time, but he's been apprehended. This is an older story. This is by, let's see, who owns this storyline? WGNO. This was 4 weeks ago. 9 times out of 10, he's probably back in New Orleans. So he's going to be facing 2 charges. Murder of the woman he was dating, and then the attempted murder of a Tennessee police officer. Craziness. Just sad. Yeah, well, nature didn't do a good job because New Orleans is back popping with crime, and the rent is very high down there. I'd heard that a few years ago. It was very expensive to live in New Orleans. So their government, cities, making it hard for people to move back, have a life back there. If you wanted to go back to New Orleans, then you count in the crime, then you count in the risk of another major storm coming through and flooding the city. Hopefully the levees are up to par to hold the water. It's just risque living down there. And as you saw, when the storm hit last year, it didn't flood New Orleans, but surrounding places did flood, had storm damage. So the area has the propensity for storm damage, whether it be a flood or just trees down, falling in a house, home. That's the risk you're going to bear by living in that general area because it's flat down there. There's one story that was baffling to me I read today. It's out of Florida. This is about a young girl who was pregnant and living with her parents, and the guy came over to the home and shot her and her brother. That is a very baffling story. I think I will save that one for a crime vault this week. I'll let that be my crime vault video. And I also will post a movie of the week. Last week I did a documentary. I did watch another documentary the other day pertaining to O.J. Simpson and Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. It's a bit slow. I don't know if I want to bring you that content yet. I'm trying to decide if I want to bring you that. But this is another narrative pertaining to who killed Nicole. Some people still believe O.J. Simpson is innocent. Some people do believe that he is guilty in killing Nicole and Ron. But this documentary will show allegedly things that were going on in Nicole's life that wasn't revealed extensively. That she had a drug problem allegedly. She was known to have owed drug dealers money. And that when you hear that audio of O.J. Simpson at her house and they're playing her calling 911, I don't think we all heard the actual conversation. In this audio, you hear OJ saying to her about her debts. I'd never heard this before. But he's talking to her like, I don't care about who you're sleeping with. I'm here because of my children, and I don't want you putting my children's lives in danger with the company you keep. So in this documentary, it is alleging that she had a drug problem. She owed drug dealers, and she was using O.J. Simpson as the money bag to pay off her debts. And he's saying in this audio, it's not an issue of me being, obsessed, possessed with her, blah, blah, blah. I'm pissed off that she's allowing certain people in this house around my kids. And one thing we can say that's true that O.J. said is true in the audio is the Glenn guy, Rogers. He was a known murderer. He murdered somebody else when he pretended to be a painter and was going in and out of Nicole's house, painting for her and doing odd jobs. That's not a lie. That's not a lie. He was a murderer who was using a dead man's identity, living in Los Angeles, using this dead man's identity, and befriended Nicole and had access to her house, her children, her peripheral. It's very scary. So what you have to ask yourself is this. Is it just happenstance that she had a murderer in her vicinity, but he didn't kill her, but OJ killed her with either himself or somebody else. Very interesting information. I will try to bring you that commentary. Well, God may not be lenient. We will see. But as the scripture says, this too shall pass. So when you see all these horrible things, you never know. I'm going to chop up something with you guys before I leave here. I'm going to try to be very delicate in my commentary. I need a bigger desk. I basically need a dining room table to put up all my goodies because I have so many things, phone holders, iPad holders. It's just like there's too much going on. I want to talk about the recent uptick of violence that has been exacted here in Knoxville, Tennessee. Very disturbing information I brought you guys recently. And I want to talk about something briefly that I'm going to check out of here. Thank you all for joining me. The one thing I always do, and I've said this early on in the start of this live, is that I want you all to be free thinkers. Think for yourself. Don't believe everything you hear and see. That know that any type of story, true crime or not, there's always his side, her side, and the truth. But you may not know everything that's happened. You may never find out what happened to the person, who said what, who did what. Naturally, you're going to be curious. Some of you, and some of you are not. There are people I know who don't care for true crime. There are people who don't care for what I do as a YouTuber, talking about true crime and giving my opinion on certain things. But as I've told people, this is a commentary channel. I started out as a commentary channel. I didn't deal with computers and different things. And even now, I still don't have the access to show things on my computer when going live and all that, because that's not what I intended for the channel. I wanted this to be just a laid back network where I bring you the information, discuss it with you, and go from there. Not showing pictures and things, but of course, a lot of people want to see what the person looks like, what the people look like, and I get all that. But nonetheless, one of the stories I brought to you last week had an ending where a young man was murdered in a store and the guy went and killed himself. And I always thought at that time it was suspicious. Why would a man kill himself after killing a man? Was he dating the man? Well, we later find out through gossip, allegedly it was over a woman. I'm going to go ahead and spin the web. God forgive me for spinning it, but I'm going to spin it anyway because many of you are probably curious to why would a man walk into a store and murder another guy. It is alleged that a video was released of the killing of Mr. Aries King inside of that said store. Who filmed it? I do not know if it's video surveillance or someone's own personal phone, because I'd never watched the video. The person I talked to that watched the video said it's very graphic. I brought you commentary last week where a news reporter tells you that it's very graphic and they could not play the video on the news channel. And I think that was the right thing to do out of respect for Aries' family. Why did that guy kill him in that store on that fateful day? The information that I got, and it is not to say that this is true information, because naturally, in order to verify it, the dead person would have to speak. And the dead person is gone. Thank you all so much. It's been alleged that the two guys were talking and are dating the same woman. The guy who did the murder just got released from prison recently. Somehow he makes it to this woman's apartment. I don't know if he went there deliberately to confront her and the guy or to fight the guy. I'm not really sure. But either way, there was allegedly a confrontation between the shooter and the dead man. The dead man won, allegedly, the fight. So now we have the shooter angry, upset, allegedly. So now he wants revenge on the new boyfriend. It is alleged that the female that they were entangled with gave the guy from prison Mr. King's location at that store. And that's how he found him to gun him down. Where I have a problem with this story, if indeed what has been told to me is the truth, why in the world would you not tell this young man that you are currently dating or liking someone, that you will not be talking and or dealing with this person, whether you had a child with him or not? And it is hard to wrap my head around a woman, female, telling another man where to find another guy. Because you're the cause of the problem if allegedly this allegation is true. So you would lead somebody on that was incarcerated. He gets out. You don't tell him the truth that you have a new friend, a new guy, staying with you, visiting, however it went. He shows up to the house, confronts this guy. They both get in an altercation, physical. The guy from prison loses, and now he's walking around with a vendetta against the new guy. And you, what, get pressured or just go ahead and voluntarily give the guy from prison the information where he can find the new guy, which is Mr. Reese King. I'm praying that this is not true, because it is sickening for any young person to lose their life. It is sickening for any adult to lose their life, especially over entanglements, misunderstandings, assumptions, or just cold-blooded, I don't want this person to be alive. How can a person get out of prison, been in jail for God knows how many years, to come out and murder another human being over a female? It makes no sense to me. Why in the world would you forfeit your own freedom? Shoot at the police through your house that you were in, 9 times out of 10, not your house, friend, family member's house, letting you stay there. Risk the lives of people in the house, perhaps, and the officers outside who are just there to do their job. Also endangering the lives of the neighbors because the houses were close together. You see, this person didn't have no direction. You get out of prison, but you have no direction. You're getting yourself all discombobulated over some female that you liked or got a baby with, whatever the situation is. For what? You had that little value for yourself, for others, that you would go hunt this guy down in a store for whatever reason. Because as I said, I don't have any verification of what is the truth or not. But in the end, it doesn't even matter. Because what is it that he could have done to you when you just got released from prison? Old wounds, old issues, what? Or is it true about what they're saying? This heifer sent you to pick up, handle Mr. King. Now Mr. King is dead, and he has grieving family and friends. Now, where are you, Miss Lady? I got information pertaining to you. You're trying to move out of the place where you were living. And let's say it's true, because I believe the source who told me this information, because where this person got the information from, that person has no reason to lie, because I don't see this person being somebody hanging in the street. Why would you want to move? Is it because somebody has kindly told you they're looking for you because of the death of Mr. King? And you know what you did was wrong by sending that guy to handle Mr. King. Now, maybe you didn't think he was going to kill him. I don't know, because I don't know the conversation. But he did kill him. And my understanding, it was so brutal that he emptied the clip and reloaded. So you had to have known something. You have to have known something. And the fact that you would be so heinous to be talking to one guy, misleading one incarcerated, he gets out thinking possibly he's going to be with you. And then you send that same guy who's already done time in prison for whatever charge to exact revenge on Mr. King is below the belt. There are no words if indeed this allegation is true. And the fact that you were wanting to move, why are you going to move? You would only want to move if you know you were the one that sent him to Mr. King. So you're showing guilt. And you should know that Knoxville is very small. You're not going to be able to move and live anywhere in this town without people knowing where you're moving. You think people are not going to be watching and hearing and looking out windows to see, oh, she's packing her stuff up. And then you move to the next place, you think people are not going to know who you are and the rumors that are circulating about you. Whether they're true or not, it doesn't matter. Because a lot of people live off the rumors, you see. Then you think you're going to move somewhere else and people can't find you. And my source said They did come looking for you. Found property manager and told them. They wanted to know where you stayed. And threatened to shoot up the place, whoever these people are. People, persons. So that's pretty brazen for them to even say it. We'll shoot this place up till we find her. I pray to God that's not true, because now we're talking about more lives being endangered because of something you allegedly orchestrated. And a young man is now dead, 33-year-old man, if indeed you are the cause of him being dead. And one would think that possibly it's true, because one would have to say, what beef could these two have had when one's been locked up for years? Did they know each other previously? Had problems with each other? Fought each other previously when he was free? What? What issues could they have had before? And it's not to say they couldn't have had issues. They both living around or grew up in the same area, perhaps, could have. But that ain't what the street is saying. And it's not to say that what the street is saying is the truth. The fact is that it's out there and it's sad. Very, very sad. Thank you, Diane. You can't run. You surely can't run from something that you possibly orchestrated. How could you ever think that you could run? A man is dead. His family's grieving. Did you see his father on the news, Miss Lady? Distraught about his child being killed in a public store. A video has now been released to the public that shouldn't have been released. And Mr. Reese King has every right to sue the store because you all had no right to release that footage of a thug killing his child. So whoever released it, be it the store owner, manager, you are out of line and out of pocket. If you're somebody working in the store that day, you're out of line and out of pocket. Why the hell you want to release something like that? Because that wasn't you lying down there on that ground. I want to say this till I'm blue in the face. You don't know people. We learned this with the rapper Trouble. Going into some woman's house, don't know all the logistics of how he knew her, how long he knew her, to only get shot in her bedroom and run out, pass out on the sidewalk, to later be taken by the ambulance and die at the hospital. Many rumors, rhetoric, but it's principle. You don't know people. You don't know what people have going on. And even if they give you little bits of what is going on, that has nothing to do with how you could end up. I don't think it's a good idea to go in anyone's home if they've told you they just broke up with somebody. Husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, it's all the same. Best you meet them somewhere else. Because you don't know who's still lurking around, who's still coming around. And nobody's going to tell you, oh yeah, by the way, my ex just left here 2 hours ago. Or he just left here yesterday. Or she just left here yesterday. Why are they going to tell you that? Because they know you'll probably say, I'm not coming over there and you still got your ex coming around. Hey, does he or she still have a key? And those are things you should ask a person if they do tell you they just broke up with somebody. If they did tell you the person's still coming around, you should ask, do they have a key? But then once again, who's going to tell the truth? Oh, yeah, he still got a key. No, I ain't changed the locks. If you're willingly done with somebody, you need to change the locks. So they don't double back and slide in and cut your throat, shoot you in your sleep, or shoot you while you're standing. If they're threatening you still, I think you know the possibilities that you possibly could end up deceased. A lot of people don't take these threats serious, such as this woman in New Orleans. For some reason, she didn't finish filing the paperwork for a restraining order, and he guns her down outside of her own apartment. For whatever reason. For whatever reason. Because you don't know people. And even when you get a glimpse that they're violent, they talk crazy, cuss, fuss, threaten you, attempt to hurt you, harm you, kill you, you should be trying to run like hell once they act out. As I said, I don't know what is the truth pertaining to Mr. King's death, but it has bothered me, such as the death of Tyandra Duff. Her murder has bothered me because Queen has lived to be 51, and I know when something ain't right. My spirit will tell me when something ain't right. That's why I always listen to the news first. And it's not to say the news can't get information incorrect, but you always have to remember whatever the news repeats, it's 9 times out of 10, somebody gave them that version. So in the end, it's still a version. It's just the news repeating it. And I always tell people, don't get mad at the news because they had to have gotten it from somewhere. You want to get mad at the person that told them the version. So far, there's been no version pertaining to Mr. King's death. They were satisfied with just knowing the man walked in, shot him, video release. They've got footage of it, couldn't release it. The man killed himself later. But what I think is interesting is nobody's curious to why this man killed him and then barricaded himself inside his house, shot at the police, and then they sent in a drone, and he later kills himself. Nobody's curious to why he killed himself. I think common sense should tell you that it was personal, because you rarely find a man killing himself after killing another man. Men only usually do that if they've killed a woman and or children. So why would a man go hunt somebody down in a store and then later barricade themselves inside their home and shoot themselves? Unless it was personal. And 9 times out of 10, it's a woman involved. Because most men will not kill themselves from shooting a guy in the street. You see it every day, men killing men. They don't go home and kill themselves. They don't. They usually kill themselves if the murder is pertaining to a woman. So I got a feeling that this is about a woman. And the sad part is, if the allegation is true, the rumor, she set all this up. This is baffling to me. And it's just utterly disrespectful. Because in the end, that guy who did the killing, he was an utter fool to have been listening to you, thinking that you wanted him, then get out. She already had somebody else. And then you get mad, go over there. You two fight, now you're mad. Because now your manhood has been violated. But you went there, if this is true. So you went looking for trouble and you got what you were looking for. Stay woke now. Also, the rumor is the one who's dead, they're saying he didn't even want the girl. And possibly it's because of this altercation with this guy who just got out of prison. I don't know. Rumor is he said that she was crazy. Don't know if that's true or not. But you see, even if, let's say that's true, he thought, hell, I ain't getting fool with this girl no more. She got me wrapped up in this drama, dude getting out of prison, coming over here, showing out. I had to whoop his butt. He probably didn't think the guy was going to double back again. Try to hunt him down, to kill him. Now, naturally, he'd be a fool not to be looking over his shoulder, but he may not have given it any thought. I whooped his tail, it's the end of the story. But it wasn't the end of the story. If indeed all this, what I'm repeating, is true. He found you by that little cutie pie that both of you were entangled with or liked, dated, sex, whatever y'all were doing with her. And that lets you know that she obviously liked the one that was in prison, because allegedly she has a child by him, they say. So really, that's obviously the one she wanted. The new one was just somebody to just be doing something with, I guess, until old boy got out of prison. But that's where her heart lied, let's say. Well, then that's the one you should have been with, Miss Lady. Should have told him, okay, I've been talking to this dude. I apologize, but I am human. I will stop seeing him now that you're home. And that's all she do is tell the new guy, hey, my baby daddy, whomever is out, he is who I want to be with. See, truth helps. It doesn't mean that a person is not going to react to what you're telling them, but at least you know you were honest. And I don't think this young lady was honest with these two guys. I think she was double juggling both. One got out, assuming she didn't have anybody. Hell, for all I know, she's stupid enough and told him to come on over there to fight the damn guy. I don't know. Because if you're bold enough to send the guy from prison to go find him at that damn convenience store, you could have been just as cold to have him come over there with that other guy there. Oh yeah, he here, come on over. Why not? What kind of person are you? Because as I said, if these allegations are true, you are a dirty motherfucker. That you would send somebody to harm another human being that you were wrapped up with. He wasn't wrapped up with him. May have knew of him, but wasn't wrapped up with him. That's your doing. And now you're walking around probably scared shitless, afraid that somebody's going to do something to you. And you should be afraid because you had no right doing that if this is true. If they wanted to handle business as two men on their own, that would have been on them. But you should not have been a middle person, orchestrating and meddling and stirring the pot. Now Mr. King is dead. And it's believed you're running around here trying to find somewhere else to live. That leads me to think you done something. You stirred this up. Because why would you need to move now? As for Japhasia Mitchell, very sick story. Yes, she could have been off too. Very true. I don't have any information pertaining to that guy that was apprehended in Western Heights, but he was wanted in questioning of her death, and possibly somebody gave the information that he's the one that killed her. We will see what happens. I have no new information on that or the other two women that were arrested, but that's cold too. His face looks awful familiar to me. When I kept studying it earlier, I said to myself, where have I seen this guy before? I've seen him somewhere. I can't pinpoint where, but he looks familiar. And that's why I keep trying to tell you this is a small area. And you have to be careful the things you talk, repeat to people, because people go back and repeat it. People know of people. You could just honestly just bring up a storyline and don't know that you're talking to their cousin or eighth cousin, sixth cousin, first cousin. And just like right now, somebody may not like the commentary I've brought here, but this is what I do. I'm a commentary channel. And I give my opinion pertaining to true crime and breaking news. That's what I do. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree. But I also have to be careful as well, because somebody could get mad and say, well, I don't like what you were saying up there about my friend, my sister, my brother, and they want to gun me down. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's why I don't talk about a lot of Knoxville crime for that very reason, because I live in the area. And all it takes is for somebody to go, that lady has a YouTube channel. She was talking about your brother, your sister. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's the world we live in. People don't know how to hold their composure, their opinions, and they pop off. Now they want blood on something that's just an opinion. Hello, Miss Crystal. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. 3-year anniversary of the Queen. Amen. God is good. So, third story and last one. Tyanja Duff, who will be laid to rest this Wednesday. Very baffling story. Still on my mind. Still something ain't right with me. My spirit tells me something is not right pertaining to the death of Tyanja. I got this feeling. Something tells me that this is possibly intentional. Because as I said, you have to weigh the scenario. Did the girl watch everybody get in the car? Did she walk up and see everybody in the car? Did the car have tinted windows? That is how you're going to know if indeed Tyanja was the intentional victim or not. Tinted windows and the timing of seeing everybody in the car. And even if the car had tinted windows and she assumed that the boyfriend was in the back, how do you know which side of the car he'd be sitting on? Passenger side or driver's side? Did she shoot only one time? If she shot only one time into the car, that means possibly, Tyanja, it was intentional. Because if I'm spraying the car, then that means everybody had a chance to be shot. Do you understand? If there's only one shot, then that means you possibly knew who you were shooting at. Tinted windows or no tinted windows. Windows up, windows down. Did she intentionally try to kill Tyanja Duff? I'm curious. Where was she standing when she took the fatal shot into the car? Driver's side, passenger side, driver back, passenger side or driver side, windshield front or windshield in the back. Which is it? And why is this guy not cooperating with authorities? Why didn't he want to tell the authorities what actually happened to Tyandra Duff? You're her friend and you're in her car, but you don't want to talk to the police. That would lead somebody to think that you're guilty of something to hide. Was this a setup? I don't know. But I know she's not living. And she has left behind 5 children who now have to be taken care of by relatives. Possibly Miss Teresa, her mother. See, you don't know people. You don't have real friends, acquaintances. Everybody is not your friend. Everybody's not your acquaintance. It's just like 4 people could be good friends. Then they invite Susie May to come along for an evening with them. You can best believe out of those 4, somebody don't like the 5th wheel. 3 friends. 1 don't like one or the other in the group either. Stay woke now. There will always be a backstabber in the group. There will also be a hater in the group. There will be others who will come in the group to infiltrate, to try to stir the pot. Each friend will have other friendships, and they may not jive with the other people in the group. That's to be expected. I don't really like her when she comes around. I don't like when you bring her around. I don't like how you act when she's around or he's around. You see where I'm going? Now you have a problem. And the true test of a friendship is when something jumps out, such as this death of Tyandra. Now the world gets to see that this guy, they say his name is Tobias, I don't really know, that he's really not a good friend. Because if he still hasn't cooperated with authorities, then we have to ask, what the hell was he doing in her company? And what was she doing in his company? And what was the relationship between Miss Duff and this guy and the other young lady? And who was the other young lady that was in the car? I hear there's an issue of conflict of who the other female was. So has that female complied with authorities of what actually happened on that fateful day? See, this is when you realize who your friends are. And that's another thing. Were they really friends? Tyandra and these 2 other people? Or how many are there really? Because I don't really know how many there were in the car. Was it 3? Was it 4? What? Were the people outside standing on the curb? What? Who's going to tell the truth? Who's going to actually go into court and tell the truth? About worrying about retaliation. See, that's when you know that you live in a certain type of lifestyle that's probably unsavory when you have to worry about retaliation. And it's not to say that good, decent people can't worry about retaliation. But when you live a street life and you're still hanging in the street, you're still affiliated, you hang with gangbangers and you're hanging with people that's throwing up signs and throwing up hood signs, you can best believe you'll be wrapped in some drama. And if something pop off, you don't want to tell because you don't want to be known as a snitch and you don't want to be in court. You don't want to be in documents and depositions. And I get that. But that's why you possibly need to choose who you hang with in the company that you keep. Well, he knows what happened, Crystal. He was there. But that lets us believe that he has favoritism over the girlfriend who did the shooting. So that still looks even worse. Because you think the family and outsiders and authority is not wondering, well, hell, did you intentionally want the girl to get shot? You were with her. So your girlfriend comes along and shoots her, but you don't have anything to say. How convenient. See, you don't know people. And sadly, Tyandra had to learn the hard way by being in the company of people who possibly don't want to tell the damn truth to what the hell happened to her. Now, how jacked up is that? Hanging with these people, God knows how long, and then she gets shot and nobody has anything to say. Nobody wants to speak to authorities. How convenient. So why don't you try explaining that to her 5 children? Her mother, her father, brothers, sisters. Oh, I ain't got nothing to say. I don't want to be involved. Why not? Are you worried about that little pipsqueak family doing something to y'all for speaking? That's on her that she went and shot her. Nobody told her to pull out no damn gun. See, I'm curious to how it all was set up in the first place. Who all was outside? Whose house was that? Why were they all there? How did that young girl get to be there? Was she there originally? Or did she get summons there? Did she just pull up there? rolled by there, or somebody told her they all were hanging out. Hey, you need to go on over there on such and such street. Your boy over there with such and such, such and such. She pulls up, still mad, angry, whatever the hell was her problem. Bloop, bloop, going about her business. And then later they said her mom was trying to help her get out of town. I don't know where that rumor came from. Well, she ain't went nowhere but to the jail and back out because she's not listed in custody at the Knoxville Detention Facility. So who bonded her out? Ting. Y'all got mad paper like that? Or did somebody put their house called collateral to get this little goofy ass chick out? Yeah, I said that. Because she ain't no morning star. Queen said that. Now you get to walk around Knoxville looking over your shoulder because you know somebody ain't happy with you. And don't nobody really care that you were trying to shoot that boy, because in the end, you're going to have to prove you weren't trying to shoot Tyandra. How about that? You take this to trial, your lawyer is going to have to stand before 12 members to prove you were intentionally trying to shoot your boyfriend. And then what's going to be even more crazy is if the truth comes out that he is the one that bonded you out, then people are going to be wondering, the 12 members, well, wait a minute. She tried to kill him, but he bonded her out from killing his friend? What in the Sam Hill is going on here? Right. What in the Sam Hill is going on here? I tell y'all, stay woke. She shoots this girl, allegedly not intending to kill her. And the rumor is he's the one that bonds her out. Now you put that on paper. So she's in it to win. He's in it to win, allegedly, let's say. So with all the bickering, fussing, and fighting they did that day, allegedly, it was all for what? At the expense of Tyandra Duff. Because she's the one that didn't go home. He's free, she's free. Tyandra's dead. So she gets a do-over by the luck of somebody posting bond. Are you following the story? My message to all of you is to know when to fold. When you see that people are not right, they're not beneficial, they can't help you, they're not rooting for you, they're not uplifting you, cut them off. They're not supporting what you're doing, your dreams, your goals, cut them off. As I said, I've met people who were not, a few men who weren't really on board with this YouTube thing, but my thing is, you don't pay any bills here. And what I do with YouTube is my business. Because you can't come in and lavish off of somebody's goodies, how they live, eat out the refrigerator or get a drink or go out to lunch with them or dinner, and this is the money that pays for it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Plus any other jobs I do. So that makes no sense. But that's when you realize that you probably are not in a good company. You're not in a company of somebody that is supportive. You possibly need to find somebody else to be around. Because I think a lot of men who have met me, who know what I do, they were intimidated by the YouTube platform. Why? I don't know. Why would you be intimidated by me sitting up here? I don't make a lot of money doing this. I don't make a lot of money at all. So you're intimidated by what exactly? I'm not a millionaire. I don't even make $500,000. I don't even make $100,000. So once again, why would you be intimidated by a YouTube platform? Oh, I don't like that you're doing that, but you don't mind being in my company and enjoying the goods that have been acquired through YouTube money. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real. So I'm telling you, you don't know people. And then when you do see little signs that they're not right and proper, you need to leave them alone. Because as I said, if a person doesn't support any goal or dream that you have, it's not somebody you want to be around. They're telling you what they think of you. No matter what you're doing. Social media, a regular job, whatever, doesn't matter. They're not supporting. So you don't need them. When they're still hanging in the street, they still have street ideologies, thought process, worrying about the snitch rule, and still hanging with people that are affiliated, gang banging, and still toting weapons, and hanging with people that's toting weapons, and hanging with people jumping in and out of jail, and incarceration, and on probation, parole. You really don't want to be in a company of people that live like that, because it's only a matter of time that mess is going to seep its way into your peripheral. And when you don't know what people are doing, and you're meeting them places and picking them up, and you don't know what they got going on, you don't know about the company they keep, and that's how you get yourself jacked up. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's any age. Waiting for people outside of business, waiting for people outside somebody's house, waiting for them outside their house. You don't know what they really got going on. You need to tell them, I'll holler at you later. Or you can visit me. I ain't picking you up nowhere. I ain't waiting on you. Know why? Because you need to know the company that you keep. And don't think you can't be dead at this age, 51, 50, 45. Because people are leaving here in droves right now. Because we have an uptick of crime in most cities and towns. We have people on drugs. They're looking for ways to get high, to get their money, get their fix. We have people still wanting to run the street and rob, steal. We have sadists, predators, child molesters, rapists, serial killers. So you mix all them in together. People mad at the world. People been bullied. We are all ripe for the taking. Somebody's been evicted. Somebody got kicked out of school. Somebody got a bad grade. Now somebody wants to get a rifle, AR-15s, on and popping. And you just so happen to be in the way. Somebody's mad. You don't want them, don't like them, divorcing them, leaving them, separate. Now they want to kill you. Somebody's jealous of you. You're doing well, got a new home, new house, good job. You look nice. You carry yourself nice. You're pretty. You're handsome. You're tall. Whatever. They don't like you. Somebody thinks you're doing something. They're racist. They want to prove, I don't want this group here anymore. See, various reasons you can leave here. Various reasons. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the company you keep. Be aware of your tongue, how you talk to people, how you treat people. Social media platforms, in public arenas, talking to people, arguing with people. It's all the same. One little thing can get you 6 feet under. And I've wondered that about Tyandra. What was she doing that day? What was on her mind that day? Did she have a bad feeling that day? Did she have a bad feeling that day? We will never know now. And as I said, 5 children now are without a mother. So whatever the hell was going on with that chick and that guy, it could not have been worth killing this woman and leaving 5 children without a mother. Because you can't explain to them what the hell was going on with you and that guy, and you meant the bullet to be for him. Nobody wants to hear that. And nobody's going to possibly believe it. Because they're not going to care. It ain't good enough. There is no reason that will be good enough for killing her. Same thing with Reese. Same thing with Miss Jafasha. Nobody's going to care what your reasons were. If you'd like to donate to the channel, The Dream of Everyday Shenanigans, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. Thank you all for the love, the support, following the content. God bless all of you. Stay safe. Have a blessed week. Stay cool, hydrated. It's going to be very warm here in High-10 allegedly, and I'm sure in other places. There's also some places having grid problems because of the air conditioning, having to run continuously in most businesses and homes, and it can short out the grid. So prayers for everyone that we will not have any problems with our grid structures to where people will be without air conditioning, because when it is very hot, it is dangerous to be out working in the heat, running, hiking, playing games, soccer, whatever it is you're into, golf. You need to stay in. It's not worth your health. And many people die each year from heat-related deaths. Thank you, Mods on Deck. Thank you all for joining me. God bless all of you. I'm going to check out of here. And when I get more stimulating content, I will bring it to you. I believe I will be doing a probably Crime Vault most of the week on older stories that I want to bring out to the public. And I may do another O.J. Simpson, Nicole Simpson, Ronald Goldman video to bring new information that has been released on Tubi. And we will go from there. Thank you, Norma. Thank you all. Thank you all so much, Pen 10. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you, Miss Crystal. Thank the mods. God bless all of you. 3 years on YouTube. Amen. Thank you. You all have a wonderful evening. Good week. Not tonight, dear. Later on. I possibly will do a live tomorrow. I think I will do a Crime Vault pertaining to an older crime. It's 12, so it's a new day. It's Monday. I will possibly come back later today, Monday, with a Crime Vault video, and I will also post a movie of the week for you all to enjoy. Thank you all so much. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you.